Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. Can you hear me okay? Get a thumbs up. Can you hear me in the chat? Maybe.
There we go.
There we go.
You're
good?
got some people in here.
All right. There we go. Hey, guys. What's up? All right. We'll get right to it. Actually, you know what? Raj always likes me to kind of give it some time, let some people roll in. So instead, how'd you guys do this morning? Green, red? Let's hear it in the chat.
Or a no trade day. I've had a couple
No
of
trade.
those this week.
I consider those green days.
Me too.
Cool. All right. Well, we're here with Mr. Moses Trading, and he is going to tell us how he just moved from Florida to Utah. If that's correct. And he
Yes,
is
sir, it is.
He's enjoying the snow, and I'm enjoying the heat.
Yeah. We have gotten a bunch. It was 35 inches this week, and we have 100 up to 150, I think now, 150 trails open to ski on. So as soon as I'm done with this, we will be going out there as a family.
Yeah, I love it. Cool. All right. Looks like we got some people rolling in. So we'll be doing some giveaways later on. We just got to hit 75 likes. Shouldn't be a problem. We've got over 100 people watching now. So you can watch it on Twitter, YouTube, wherever. Let's get into it. We're going to be talking about 2026, planning for the year, recapping your last year, what you should look for, maybe some ideas to sharpen everything you learned in 2025 to make 2026 better. So, you want to take it away?
I will. Well, for starters, Happy New Year to all of you guys out there, whether you are from the US or halfway across the world. Happy New Year. I cannot believe that it is already 2026. I got into prop firms specifically in 2025. And so I'm now like a year in from live trading my own capital into now switching to prop firms. And it has been an insane year. I mean, for most people, they start the new year with excitement. They join a new gym, they cut out their junk food, they do all of that stuff. And now it's the 8th, and a lot of that hype is starting to die down. And so I want to talk about how to continue that hype into the month, into February, into March, so on and so forth, and how we can really take actionable steps to get to where we want to go in trading. Because here's the honest thing, like 2026 isn't going to be your year because of some new magical strategy or better market or jumping in with 5 minis instead of 2. It's going to be your year or not based on whether or not you decide to actually become a disciplined, process-driven trader. That's what we're going to talk about a lot here, is the process, because just as Josh said at the beginning of the stream, even a no trade day is a green day, and it certainly is for me as well. I want to say that profits tend to be a lagging sort of indicator, where discipline is the leading one, right? Today, we're not going to be chasing motivation, but we're going to talk about how to build a system that makes discipline inevitable, right? So the first thing I want to discuss, and Josh, you can also sort of jump in. I'm sure that as a business, you guys also do this, is taking a look at 2025 and sort of doing a financial, financial autopsy on yourself. Whether you are a trader or you're in school, no matter what you do, you should take a look and reflect. That's the first thing I want to discuss. And so, I mean,
I think a lot of people like to,
Mhm.
They want to shoot from the hip. They're excited. They're thinking about the money. They wake up in the morning and they look at the charts, and they might have had a really big plan going into the morning from the previous night. And they're like, I'm getting everything in order. They've organized their desk. They're like, I am going to execute perfectly here. And then they get to the morning and all the excitement builds up. They might check a Discord and someone's talking about, oh, did you see oil? Did you see oil? Or anything like that. And you start losing that plan that you had. And not to say that you should always stick to the plan from necessarily the previous night, because markets are changing. You need to watch the markets and react to them as they change. But you don't want to throw out your process out the window in the morning because of all the excitement. Collect yourself and then work on your systematic process that you do every day that gets you to your goals, your daily goals, your monthly goals, your annual goals. Be thinking long term.
Which, let's talk about those goals, because I can sit here and say my goal is to make $10 bagazillion, which is not an actual thing, but that doesn't get me anywhere, because at the end of the day, a lot of us need to remember the why of why we started trading, whether that is to quit your job or get out of debt or support your mom. No matter what it is, there's a reason why. And the money was always a tool to get to that point. It was never the main focus when you began. I tell a lot of people that trading was always easier as a beginner when I didn't know anything, because I could really focus on the basics. And that's what I want you guys to do. And the first thing should be, start on your why. Why are you trading? For me, I wanted to quit my job, and so I needed to basically make the same amount, if not a little bit more, to be able to replace my income. But with that's a monetary goal. And now I've shifted to, I'm just really excited to follow the process every day, starting with my daily routine, which actually starts at night. I go to bed at the same time every night, and my wife, who wants to watch TV, hates it. But at least for me, I like to be monotonous and boring, because that is where trading thrives, right? So when you take a look at 2025, what were your most painful losses? What were some of your best winners? What rules did you break the most? We all have one. And sort of, what exactly do you think, on a scale from 1 to 10, is your consistency like with your process? Were you checking the news every day? Were you getting up at the same time every day? Were you rolling out of bed at 9:29? Right? These things matter. And so I think a good thing is to write down some goals that you want. There are 4 types of goals, and I'll let you guys grab a pen and paper, but there's 4 types of goals that are important. It's going to be a behavior-based goal, a risk goal, a quality goal, and a process habit goal. I see here there's someone in chat that has been having a solid week because they follow their rules, and that's exactly what we want, right? So with the behavior-based goals, I want to follow my rules every day. That is a great one. 90% of all trades, let's say that is your goal. That alone fixes most accounts. That is a great one. Does anyone else have some actionable goals that they have set for this year? Yes, we often forget about the process, but the process over a long period of time gets us to where we want to go, which is financial freedom for most of us. It just compounds over and over. Controlling losses, that's where that risk-based goal comes in. Like for me, I will never risk more than 1% of my account on any particular day, no exceptions. Or after 2 consecutive losses, I'm done for the day. What else
How
we
do
got?
you? I know people are probably wondering. So that makes sense for a lot of times for personal accounts. You might have $100,000 in an account, thousands the max. What do you do with prop accounts? We're big proponents of like it's a zero starting balance. These are small accounts. This is your drawdown. So if you had $3,000 of drawdown, you wouldn't, I assume, be risking 1% of
No.
$3,000.
It's actually going to be 10% for a prop account for me personally. So
That's
if
our
let's say
suggestion too.
I have let's say $5,000 for a simple number, I'm going to personally risk 250 per trade. So that's 5% of my drawdown per trade, which means when I have 2 losses in a row, that's $500 and that's 10%. So like for me right now, my drawdown is 2,500. So I'm going to risk about 125 per trade, and that's 250 at the end of the day, because unless you're taking 500 trades in a row, it's going to be really hard to get there at absolute zero.
Right.
And that's what I want, is to make it harder to fail, because winning is already challenging enough, but making it harder to fail means I have more time to work on winning. What else we got? Let's see. Not going on tilt, not oversizing, and no trades without proper setups. I will say that is my favorite thing about the futures desk, is you can customize your sizing no matter what on the at least evaluation part. I can say I don't want to touch more than 15 micros. I can set that when I'm customizing the evaluation, and that is an amazing feature, because for me at least, I say, all right, if prop firm X wants to give me 10 minis, I'm going to use all 10, and then that account's going to explode in 5 seconds, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah, and one thing
evaluations are great.
To add to that, in the brokerage, we definitely work with people and we want them to start with smaller size. We understand during the assessment, people want to get a little more aggressive. They feel like they're wasting their time. We don't think so. We think it's a great time to work on your cadence up into a live account, so you can continue that. But even in the sim accounts, I think we have 1 mini, 10 micros as the minimum. If you guys want, and my support staff probably hates when I say this, but you guys can come to the support chat and tell them, hey, can you disable this? Can you actually reduce me down to 4 micros? Can you reduce my daily loss limit more? Like, we'll do that. So just all you got to do is reach out to our support chat, and we'll tighten your risk as much as you'd like. So you can't control it when you're in a tilting moment.
And also to that point, smaller is better, because it really does compound over time. I'd so much rather be able to take a trade with, let's say, 1 micro and not feel that at all, so I can just do it again. Because the second you start to feel stuff is where things go wrong. I don't want to take a loss, let's say a $500 loss, and now I feel that, and now my process for the next trade is screwed up. I have a question in here, a comment in here that says, my goal is to reduce my number of red days to near 0. I'm going to say, actually, that's almost impossible. There's no way for you to have a 0 losing strategy. I mean, I've tried to find it. I've tried every indicator out there. There's not such thing as a 100% win rate. But when you do take a loss, it shouldn't sting to to the point of you want to blow or reset or whatever. And that's where customizing size can come in handy, as Josh said.
Mhm.
Losses are
It's
part of any business.
I think a big part too is, you want to size down. I 100% agree, to where you don't feel anything, especially for a very good chunk of the beginning of working on trading. So assume years. Don't think I'm just going to do this for a month or two and then I'll get really big on scale, and I'll have 20 minis and I'll be making as much as some of these gurus that act like they do. But so what you want to do is, you are going to have to deal with, when you take a reduced size, because you're not going to feel the pain when it hits. You're going to be like, oh, I lost $100. That feels like nothing. It's also going to kind of suck on the upside. You're not going to get that good feeling. So you have to prepare for that. You have to understand you're not going to be making $10,000 risking $100 every day. It's going to be somewhat proportionate. Some people are going to make more. Sometimes you can roll a small risk into a larger day. Like, that all exists, but you also have to gauge your expectations on both the downside and the upside when you reduce your size. You just won't get those enjoyable feelings of, wow, I just made a crap ton of money off 6 ticks. Because once you see that and you get that feeling, you're like, no, that's the way I want to trade. But that's not the right way to trade. Like, if you
Not
don't
at
have
all.
the drawdown to make that happen, then making $1,000 on 6 ticks, you're just completely ignoring the fact that red is coming. It might not be this trade, it could be the next trade, and it'll probably wipe your whole account.
I definitely agree. And I think, oh gosh, I've been in this 6 years, and every time that I take a loss, it still hurts. Like, it's not going to not hurt,
Sure.
because I personally, my biggest struggle, and I still deal with this today, is associating a losing trade with being a bad trader. Or like, I'm not good enough because I took a loss. Clearly, I'm doing something wrong. I take it personally. And so, to be able to mitigate the losses to where I don't associate it with failure as a trader is what really helped me get better last year. From risking $500 per trade to $500 per day, I was able to drop that feeling quite literally in half. So if I take a loss, it just feels like, okay, well, if I have a 70% win rate, I know I have to take 3 losses to get there at some point. And so for me, the brain processed every trade outcome as a win or fail as a person. And that is a horrible place to be. I really did think that it's like, you suck, you're bad at this, you're not good, and you have no skills. When in reality, you don't need to learn how to trade better. Oftentimes we know how to do it. The technicals are the easiest part. It's learning how to become the best loser. And you can start by reducing size, and journaling every trade is another one. The Futures Desk has the greatest journal I've ever seen. And I definitely mean that from a place of just shock of how awesome you guys have made your dashboard. I don't know
Thank you.
what exactly you did, but it's like every time I'm there, I'm like, this just gets better and better and better. And so it's like, you really do need to do the most cliche things, and that's journaling. It's cliche because it's oversaid, not cliche because it's incorrect. And so journaling every trade is amazing. Josh just pulled something up on the screen that shows.
This is in our beta too. So if you hop, this is available to everybody right now. So if you hop in the members site, our dashboard, you have an account with us, practice account even, down here, you'll see at the top there's a banner and it'll redirect you. You can go to the beta. Pretty soon the beta is not going to be the beta, so I suggest you just start using this now. But if you come down here, you'll see we've got a streak probability matrix. So this is going into the account of his 75% win rate and expectations. So you can play with this and kind of get an idea. This is just sort of a random distribution based on that percentage. But this can give you an idea, like if you're doing a 1, 2, 1.5 on average risk to reward. Remember, this is just to gauge expectations. This isn't a planner necessarily. But if you increase your number of trades here, let's say you take 100 trades, this is a probability of, with him with 75% win rate, how many losses in a row he should expect. The likelihood of getting 4 losses in a row over 100 trades with 75% win rate is pretty decent. Like a 30% chance he's going to hit 4 losses in a row. And
1 in 3.
And this is assuming, like, again, this is sort of a linear. If I have 75% win rate, this isn't necessarily looking at the natural distribution and the natural noise. You're going to get more or less when it comes down to it. But start realizing when you have a 4 loss streak, it's not the end of the world. It's expected, and you need to accept those expectations before you take the trades. Every time you take a loser, every time you take a winner, take a step back and don't hyper focus on that one trade and how you wish you needed to fix it, and then run over to Discord and be like, I knew it was going to go in my direction and whip me out, and get super hyper focused on that. Did you follow your plan? Was that your strategy? Did you have a reasonable reason for an exit? Were your exits part of your plan? Was your entry part of your plan? That's what we're getting. That's what we're focusing on right now. That's what we're trying to tell you, is focus on those things, because we are playing a game of stats and how those stats play out over time.
Exactly. And so I do a exercise with myself every single morning where it's like I tell myself that I accept the inherent risk of the market and what trading is, because as Josh said, it is a game of probability, and I need to fully embrace and practice the growth mindset. And so it's like you are the casino in a way, where you can graciously accept small losses, because overall when you stick to your trading plan, you always come out on top. That's what that chart shows, is even if you have a streak where you take 5 losses in a row, we can see over time we're still going to, as you can see now, even with 5 losses in a row, I can still make money depending on what the win rate is and things of that sort. It is definitely a listen first and act decisively later. You should listen to what the metrics say before you explode. And just as Josh said, you say, oh man, I knew it. When in reality, every day resets. I think the evaluation is just what it's called, an evaluation. You need to start the practices of a winning trader from the evaluation phase, because that'll make it a heck of a lot easier to continue when you are actually live. That's why I'm personally not a fan of those one-day pass, because it's like, cool, I can say that I'm funded, but am I actually practicing and trading like a funded trader? And chances are probably not.
And here's another example, since I have this up, but if I bring us down to, if you had a 50% win rate, this is what your drawdown is going to look like, your P&L over time. If you're somewhere close to probably where most people are, which is like a 1-to-1 to 1-to-5 kind of, risk to reward on average. So these expectations are just so important, because you could be moving in the right trend, right? If you put a moving average on this, like, you could chart this up, right? You could see, like, you're going in the right direction. You're going to deal with drawdown. But what we see too many times here is, people will be making it sort of through, 50% through their assessment, and then lose it all in one day, and they freak out because they choose the no daily loss limit, maybe. And maybe that's not the kind of trader they should be. Maybe they wanted that flexibility, but maybe it wasn't the best idea. It's constant. We see this all the time, is what's the quickest way I can get through everything? And then they want to get to the live brokerage, and they're like, no, I don't need daily loss limit either. And we'll pull up. We're like, look, you failed 40 times to get here, and you basically lasted 1 or 2 days, you'd blow up. 1 or 2 days, you blow up. And then you finally got through. I'm sure this resonates with a lot of people. You get to live, you're not going to change your behaviors overnight. This is the kind of cadence you want to tell your wife you can't watch TV. No, just kidding. Try to watch TV earlier with her if you have a wife. But you got to stick to some sort of process. because it's going to be hard. There's going to be downs, there's going to be ups. But in the end of this, what's your 2026 going to look like? Is it going to look like 2025? Did you struggle in 2025? Do you feel like you spent more on tests than you did getting payouts? Do you have a personal account and you keep blowing that? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
I will say a daily loss limit sounds brutal, but it's not for you as a confident trader. It's for you as a tilted trader. I want someone to say, "Hey Moses, knock it off," because I won't. I certainly won't. I accidentally take a $400 loss instead of 250, and then extra 150. I'm like, oh, I can make that back. I just got to size up. And you take something that's completely not your strategy, and you're like, what the heck did I just do? Like
Not
for
to
me,
mention
I
sizing
trade.
up with less drawdown,
Yes,
more likely to fail.
I trade reversals, but I might take a breakout setup because I'm trying to make that extra 150 back, and then I just explode, right? And so, like for me, I traded something like this morning, where we had a nice reversal after a liquidity sweep, right? Of these equal lows that we made on Tuesday. And so I had this marked out. I get a nice entry and I get a little pop reversal. But let's say this didn't go my way. Like, let's say it was this trade right here. And I take the setup and I set my stop down here, let's say, and I'm going for, let's say, up here. And I take this loss. I know, because I have done this so many times, that if I don't have a daily loss limit, or if I try to guess my sizing and I don't use the calculator that's right here, and now I'm in 4 micros instead of 2, and I've literally doubled my loss, I'll try the next one and the next one and the next one. Next thing you know, my account's gone. But with the daily loss limit, it's basically like an older sibling saying, hey, that's not a good idea, knock it off. And when you come back the next day, you're grateful for it. You very, very much are.
I think there's also something I want to address is you hit that daily loss, you need to be able to prepare for it. So you need to kind of meditate on it before you even hit your trading session. That, look, the daily loss is a possible thing I'm going to hit. If I hit it, 1, I'm not going to go reset my account, right? Chill. And 2, I'm going to not go sign up for find another company. My friend was telling me about some deal at some other company. And again, this goes for if you're not even with us. Don't come to us if you hit your daily loss at a different company. Just don't trade. Think about it. Learn to sit there on the daily loss being hit and not do anything about it other than review your trades, review your process, and get ready for the next day. But the worst thing you can do is start feeding your appetite for, I don't like that feeling that I ended the day with a daily loss. How do I fix it? The way to fix it is to prepare for the next day. It's not to reset, and it's not to sign up for evaluations, because there are clearly abundance of it with $20, $40 here. It's like, well, why not? It's only $40. You'll talk yourself into it. And then you're going to be in the same spot you were, in the same spot most of you guys, I hate to say it, that's the way most of you guys were in 2025. So what we're trying to do here is look forward.
I had a mentor tell this to me, and I want all of you guys to write this down, get it tattooed right here. I don't care, but actually listen to it. And it's that your true self-worth is more valuable than any P&L out there. You should have more self-respect for yourself than I took a loss, I'm a terrible person, right? And so, I mean, there are limitless opportunities in the market, whether you trade reversals, breakouts, bull flags, whatever strategy you trade, that doesn't matter. It's only a matter of patience and time, because trading is waiting and waiting is trading, right? And so when I say that you respect your rules at all times because you value yourself, you really need to let that sink in, because in 2026, I want all of you guys to not give a crap about what the color of the number is at the end of the day, but more so, did I follow my rules? Josh and I both said this at the beginning, where a green day is a day that I stuck 100% to my trading process, regardless of P and L. You should reset to neutral after every day because ultimately your account does. Just as we saw with that chart, it's over a long period of time. I personally have reset accounts 20 times in one day, wasted hundreds of dollars because I was like, well, I just want to see a green number. Let's say it was a 1 day pass type of account. When I used to do that, I'd say, oh, okay, well, it's $20. I'll just waste another $20. Now I have another chance at 1 day pass, just so I can say that I'm funded. But at the end of the day, your identity is not related to your P&L. And when we think about our goals for 2026, it should be to value ourselves enough to trade well and trade like you want to do. The actions we take today, the times where you eat a good breakfast, all of those little tiny things add up to the person you're going to be tomorrow. This is a little bit off topic, but when you donate plasma, they actually say it doesn't matter how much water you drank today, but rather how much water you drank over the last 3 days. And so we can take that same mindset where when we follow our rules for 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, that will then compound. And next thing you know, it's an avalanche of actual success because over time, it'll all balance out. It always does. Assuming you do the right steps.
Sure. No, I love that. Yeah, it's you can't say it enough, but it's the most boring thing to say to people. And I think I know a lot of people are probably their eyes are glossing over right now. They want a solution. They want to find a strategy, and they're like, well, that's for other people. I'll let the other people do the process. For me, you don't understand. Again, we hear this. We have a lot of people that come to our support desk. We have a lot of people that reach out to us. We coach a ton of people. So this is the conversation we have, and you immediately start getting the sense that everyone thinks they're special. They all think they don't need to do the process, or they know they need to do the process, but they're not going to do it today because, hey, last week I got a payout at XYZ company and I didn't do any process then. So why do I need to do process now? But they're usually not counting all the resets they did, all the failures they did, which obviously none of this equates to holding a single account in a real environment because you can't have $200,000 in virtual drawdown to make $10,000 and make a living on it. Which is what you kind of get in the space.
And the market rewards negative behavior. It really does. How many times have you gotten to a certain goal or you're green on the day because you oversized, or you see a setup that is like C- at best, but because you're bored, you take it and it wins. And you're like, oh, well, I'm a genius, right? The market rewards negative behavior. And so you really can't do that. You have to trust, you have to trust the process anyway. The resistance is the trap trying to hold you back, right? The resistance in that. So like for me, I have a trading journal that I do every day, whether it is the beginning of the day or post market. So like for me personally with my system, I had 3 no trade days in a row, which I've never had ever. That was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. I had my first trade of the week today. And I still journaled relentlessly, even though it was the same thing. No trade day, therefore I followed my system. I don't care if it's boring because boring is success. Boring really is.
So I just wanted to show you another little feature we got in the beta dashboard. So again, this is available to everybody. It's right here in the beta dashboard. So what you can go do and come in here, again, this is just give you a sense of what we're talking about. If you're over risking per trade, you have a certain amount of drawdown. This is good doing 10,000 simulations of what could happen and sort of the average of what would happen if you fully had a 50% win rate with 1.5 average win to loss. This would be the distribution of your results by the end of the 75 trades. So I can increase the trades, give it a bigger sample size. And if you start increasing your risk per trade, right? Notice just how, I know you're seeing the average line here, but notice just how much you're risking for a risk of ruin. Risk of ruin, remember, if you hit the green, that's fantastic. And obviously that's where you'd want to be after 100 trades. But guess what happens? If you get here, that's great because you can continue. If you get to here, you're done. The closer you get to here, the harder it's going to be to recover, especially when you start doing wild risk per trades. So risking appropriately is going to really give you an opportunity to get to your targets with more reliability. And again, this is just a Monte Carlo simulation. So it is a random distribution of, if how many losses in a row and, what's the worst case scenario. But just to give you an idea, these things are all possible, and you can hop in here and play with this as well. Like obviously if you increase your win rate, you're going to have a pretty good distribution, but good luck getting 3.5 half the time off 100 trades.
Josh, can I ask, can I tell you my stats? I actually want to see this for
sure
myself. Sure. I have a 73% win rate over 7 years. My average is 1.4 RR. I risk $200 per trade, and let's just say it's that. Yeah, it's like I am making it almost impossible for me to fail, because sure, it's gonna take me forever. And it's like, that's
killer stats, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're trading with us.
It's really, really hard, because it's like I want to risk $1,000. I want to feel something that's fun, but it's like even if I take a massive account like this, which at this point I'd probably risk a little bit more, but it's like I don't really want to see myself fail, because it's like at the end of the day, it's gonna hurt no matter what. You have to decide which pain you want. Do you want the pain of taking a loss, or do you want the pain of paying another $150 because you couldn't accept one loss and you gotta reset? I'd rather be upset on the day because I took a loss than upset because I had to waste more money trying to hit a green day.
Which I guess comes back to,
it's not always what has to happen.
Which takes it back to the goals, the 2026 goals. Do you want to think about your daily issue, or do you want to think about where am I going to be in a week, in a month, in a year? Where do you want to be with this stuff? Do you want to keep cycling evals and playing that game where you're just getting some payouts and you're back on your ass again, and then you're signing up for more, then you hear about new specials, and so let me sign up for 40 accounts and I'll copy trade them. I only need to make $10. Like really cool paper math. Like write that down on your napkin and like do the math and be like, honey, we're gonna make $1 billion in a year. It's probably not gonna happen. It's just it's focus, shrink it down to what you're doing, and then there's a huge amount of opportunity. I get it in the space, and I'm not going to say that there's not for things like copy trading. But if you don't have the baseline, like Moses here does, then you're not going to build on that with more accounts or resetting accounts.
Which I want to discuss. I've made the most amount of money on a single account than I ever did copying. Ever. I had one account and I traded that. I mean, I don't want to say perfectly, but it was almost perfect. And then I got a little bit greedy and I want a little bit more, and I started risking a little bit more, and then the process deviates and then the account blows.
Curious, out of that, when you started risking more, I think a lot of people go, oh, I'm doing 5 micros. This is just sort of what I'm going to do for the week. I think what they think. Maybe they say it differently. And then after a week, oh, I could do 5 minis now. I think I've got this. They're like, hold my beer, But realistically, when you're sizing up, you really need to go, oh, I'm on 5 micros risking $200. Well, maybe I'll do 6 micros risking $230, and then 7 micros risking $300, and then slowly step it up. Don't get so cocky because you had a really good couple weeks that now risk management isn't as important because.
Oh no, that's exactly what it was. I was trading 8 micros, risking $300 per trade, so like 20 points ish, and my win rate was at same 70, 65-ish%. In this particular streak, this was in May of 25, and my win rate seemed to be like 80%. I was like, okay, great. And then I was like, what? Why don't I jump from 8 micros to 3 minis? I did a exponential jump. That
Only thinking about
was
the
not
upside.
fun.
It's very
Yeah.
easy. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
But the point is, I made more money on one account than I ever did copying. And it's like, because you can put 100% of your attention onto one thing. I would so much rather have, let's say, $4,000 of drawdown, risking $400 per trade, than $2,000 of drawdown across 2 accounts, because now I feel like I got to manage 2 accounts and everything is going spiraling. And it's like the greed factor really does increase, and so does the loss as well, because now you see negative 200, let's say, across 2 accounts, and it almost looks like it's doubled, but it's not. I'm going to pull up my journal in a second here. Okay. And just to give people an idea of what I do every day, because it's boring, and boring is fun. Maybe it's because I'm a dork, but I genuinely
maybe you can walk us through your full process, your human process.
Yeah.
Even before sitting down at the desk. Give us an idea of what your day looks like, a day in the life of a trader.
Yes. Okay, let me pull up today.
Does your wife tell you what happened on the shows you didn't watch with her?
No, we just watch it later. Right now we are rewatching Dexter, which is my favorite show. And I have been more focused on reading my books before bed than watching TV before bed. And she's like, can we please watch Dexter? Can we please watch
binge
Dexter?
Watch it till 2 a.m.?
I'm like, no. I'm sure that she's watching and she's going to hate me for saying this. But we had a few friends who invited us to go out on Sunday night. And I'm sitting here like, I have to trade in the morning. I don't want to go out with friends. And it's like, maybe I'm boring, but at the end of the day, I love doing this, and there's not a job I would rather do.
This is what it looks like, guys, when you're in your space, you're in your routine, you're doing well, and you feel unstoppable. And it's in a good way. Like, there's a lot of people that feel unstoppable after one day, and they like to post, oh, look, I have 7K up on 12 accounts, and check out these other 14 accounts. And I'm like, I know you're not going to keep them. Almost every time people are posting those P&L things where they show all their accounts and all their green, it's they're happy for themselves, and they should be happy. They should reward themselves for good things, but we all know where that all ends up.
Yes. And so while she is trying to convince me to go bowling with our friends, all that I'm thinking is I have to wake up at 5 in the morning. I don't want to get back at 9. Even though it's bowling, it's not even like anything else. All right, I have my journal here. Where do I share it, Josh? Is it
can you share, Raj? Can you help him out?
Let me try to figure this out. Give me un momento, por favor.
Remove mine from the screen. Should be somewhere at the bottom there. Pause.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So this is my trading journal. It is TradeZella is the website, but this one specifically is my daily journal. This is what I do every morning. It's my pre-trading checklist. And then session recap is right here. And I talk about the trade itself. So I'm going to start with what I do every morning, because I am monotonous and boring. And it starts with waking up at the same time every day, which is 5:15ish. I then shower, cook my breakfast, have that breakfast, and then I sit down here. This is where I do about a 5-minute calm breathing exercise every day. And then I'll do some affirmations, and then I'll come in here and I'll journal for how I'm feeling, to really be honest with myself in the morning. Starting off, I have that same affirmation that I do every morning, where the market only rewards execution, not effort or identity. I release the need to feel like I am a high performer, and instead I operate from ease, self-worth, and joy. I am already enough. Now, what I mean by that is I always had an issue with attaching P&L to worth, in the sense of I'm a bad person, or I'm a bad trader, or I'm a failure because I have a red day. When in reality, you're none of those things. You're just part of the probability. We spent a lot of time today showing that graph that I'm still going to have losses no matter what. Next thing, as I said, I shower, I have my protein shake, I drink a bunch of water, brush my teeth, do all the stuff the dentist says. No phone except for Dog. What this means is Dog is an app where it has those affirmations and the 5-minute meditations on it. So that's what that app is, Dog. Food prepared. I did not make my breakfast for today, but I did do my journal. So I would consider this fully prepared. Then I say, where is my current mental state? One word. I felt anxious when I sat down because I have not taken a trade in 3 days. I've never done that. So I was itching for a trade to make progress on my funded accounts, when I need to remember to stick to my process 100%. And that I technically have had 3 days in a row that are green because I stuck to my process. Now, I also talk about, do I have any carryover emotion or pressure I'm putting on myself from yesterday? And being honest, being here on the stream, I felt a little bit of that as well, where I feel the urge to prove that I'm a good trader or a high performer, blah, 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 because I have to be on the show. And so in reality, you have to love yourself regardless of the profit or loss, because you understand the losses are stepping stones of your trading journey. And then I have a few more things from there that I like to remind myself. Like for today, my goal was to operate from joy and sort of ease, even if it felt unproductive, which for the last few days it has, because I had no trade days. And then once again, release the high performer trap, where I still keep the same ambition, but I release the pressure and trade from calm execution. This is what I do every morning, because you really have to sit down with yourself. No one is going to do this for you. No one is going to hold your hand through the trading journey. And I've been doing this 6 years, 7 years, something of that sort, sort of the end of 2019. And I've learned that no matter how many Discords you join, you're the one who presses the button at the end of the day. And so you have to really come in with a accurate assessment of how you are feeling. Next I do is a session recap, where I do the same thing. Did I shower this morning? Did I have that protein shake? Did I drink that water? Did I brush and do all the stuff that the dentist says? Yes, I do. No phone. But once again, I didn't prepare my breakfast. That's one thing that I did miss. And then I showed the trade. And then from there, I can go down. And this is what all of you guys, if you don't already do, probably think of what journaling is. Journaling is way more than just, did I follow my process of the strategy? That's why I also have a pre-trading journal as well, where this is my daily report card. I say I waited for an A++ setup with a singular gap and all that technical stuff. I go through my trading checklist. Everything except delivering from a high time frame gap met my criteria. So my trade was a nice winner. And then from there, how did I feel during the session? Once again, focusing on the process, because I need to be accountable and a healthy critic to myself. I felt impatient due to finally having volatility, because I hadn't pressed buy or sell in 3 days, not to mention 2 weeks before that, because I did take a break during the holiday time. I was looking for trades across the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, looking across all those timeframes before focusing on my higher time frame bias. And as I said, I was itching for a trade more so than focusing on where price wants to go, which is the key part of my system. So I really, really want you guys to think back at 2025 and say, did I have an honest conversation with myself every day? Chances are probably not. I know I didn't do this. I recently started journaling religiously, and it's helped tremendously even after I've done this for a while. And so it's like, I really do think we all know what to do. We know what we have to do to make our trading business successful. We have to journal. We have to not go out and drink alcohol on a Sunday night or a Tuesday night, right? We have to exercise outside of just our brain exercise with the charts because we need to feel good to perform good. We know all of these things, but it's boring. It's not exciting. And to really lock in for 2026, you need to do an audit of how your 2025 was. You need to set process goals. So remember, you only take A plus setups. You end the day at your daily loss limit without hesitation. Not you're going to make $10,000 in one day. That's not a goal. That's an ego focused thought, which isn't the right thing. Things like big goals are who I am, or I don't settle for average. That's not what we have to do. But in reality, you have to prove worthiness by climbing the endless ladder of boring trading business, and that's journaling. That's healthy foods. That's drinking water. That's not waking up a minute before the bell. That's doing post-market reviews and doing all that stuff that is really valuable, even though it's not exciting. And that's what I personally think. As much as I would love to post, I had an $80 million day and I'm going to buy my 5th yacht. That's not why I started trading, and it's not going to get you anywhere that you want to go long term. As I said, I had a really successful month in May. I was able to take my family on vacation and do all that stuff. But the second I got greedy and I wanted to post those big days, I jumped up from 8 micros to 3 minis, and that account was gone in like 3 days. So you really got to be realistic and do the boring stuff. I tell my folks in my personal Discord to do their push-ups every day, and the guys and girls do their push-ups every day. And you really have to do the boring stuff because you know it's what you have to do to be the trader you want to be.
Yeah, I love that. I think that nails what we're trying to get at here today. Do you want to take some questions, maybe?
Gladly.
And then we'll switch over to the giveaway.
Yes.
And I think we're going to give away a couple $200 credits. Hang on, let me not get this wrong. We're also going to do something for everybody who entered, and then we're also going to give away a T-shirt. So let's first start with some questions, though. What do we got? Any advice, please? Being based in France, U.S. Open is on the afternoon. Waiting all morning gives me hunger for trading. It makes me trade without passion.
Yes. As much as this answer might sound obvious, do something else. Our life is not trading. Trading is waiting, and waiting is trading, right? So we have to wait, be patient for our setups when they appear, but then we also have to be patient to not trade London and New York and Asia and then get no sleep as well. So pick something up, whether that's learning how to play chess. You're in France, so I'm sure biking is a big thing. Learn some art, right? I'm being a little bit stereotypical, but there's got to be something else that we can do, because I personally don't want to sit here and do this all day long. I'd go
Addiction is real,
insane.
though. You gotta stop
Totally is.
way before. Yeah, I'm not saying you said it wasn't. I'm saying
Yeah.
like the people try to figure out, okay, how can I sit at my desk in front of my charts and not take trades when there's nothing going on for 3 hours? It's like, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. And unless you have to be in front of that computer, and even if you do, I would still find a way to have 2 users that you log into. Like maybe here's
That's
your
what I
user
do.
where you're, oh, there you go. And then your other user on the computer has the charts. So you don't even have access to it. But let's say, take it a step further. If you know that you're going to end up getting sucked into trading if you're sitting down at your desk, don't start by not sitting down at your desk. Don't try to figure out, how do I not take trades when I go to my desk? Kill it in the short term by not sitting down until the time where you should start doing analysis, and your actual setups that are going to be profitable for you come up. So a lot of it isn't, oh, just be more of a stronger person when the going gets tough. You need to be a stronger person before it gets hard. That's how people get successful. It's not because they're so good at pulling themselves out when they've lost $600 and they keep losing, and then they're in that emotional roller coaster. They stop before it happens. They come up with systems so they never get to that point. Because once you get to that point, you're seeing red. It's all over. Any of us, it's human. The I don't know, some caveman reference to some animals attacking the base, and now you have to fight for your life. That's what's going on.
You stole the words out of what I was going to say.
Caveman?
No, that great traders don't have more willpower. They have better systems that alleviate the need for willpower, right? I can tell you from experience, I don't have willpower to sit down at my desk and work on other stuff and not check the chart. So what I do is I have a purpose for every single room. So for example, we used to have our TV in our bedroom because it was just comfortable. Recently, we took that out because I only want to be in there to read, change, go to bed, and that's it. Then we put the TV back in the family room, and so now that's where we watch TV. That's where we play games and things like that. I'm not in this room unless I'm doing trading stuff. If I have to work on other stuff, my laptop, I can sit at the dining room and do it there, right? I'm alleviating the need to have willpower by just straight up having a system where it's not even possible for me to do anything TV, for example, in the bedroom.
Make it as easy as possible to do the thing that you guys want to do long term. Every little way you can. So yeah, like I said, there's a long-winded answer to don't sit in front of the computer. Figure out how not to sit in front of the computer would be the first thing. And I know it sounds simple, but don't try to devise something where, no, maybe I can just look at the charts. Oh, I just want Alt Tab. I won't switch back to that window right now. I'll just be good at it. And it's like, you're just, that's like giving I hate to say it, but like, putting an alcoholic there and giving them, let's just put a beer. We'll put an open beer over here next to their mouse. You know what I mean? I just won't drink it. And it's like, why do this to yourself? We're all wanting to trade. We all get the same feeling from trading. We love it. If you're sticking to it, we're all the same way. We're just like you, right? You just have to give yourself a system.
And when you're a fast typer like myself, that Alt Tab is in half a second. You're going to be placing a trade within 2 seconds because you're like, oh, this is a bull flag when you don't even trade bull flag setups. The amount of times that I've done that is insane.
Cool.
Insane.
All right, let's move on to, what do you mean by self-worth? Is it with regards to trading or in life?
It's actually has nothing to do with trading at all. And that is the point. I wanted to remove the thought process that I am a good trader altogether, because in reality, a green day, as we've said countless times, is sticking to the process 100%. So when I say you have self-worth outside of your P&L, I mean that you don't have to equate your identity to who you are as a trader in the sense of a green day or a bad day. What I say, and I'll just say this right now, is I say that I release the need to prove that I'm a high performer. Today, I operate from ease, self worth, and joy. I am already enough because in reality, you are a good person. There's people who love you, you do good things, you have success in other areas of your life. And so you can't start to try to find that worth in the charts because then you're going to sit there for London session and Asia session and New York PM and New York AM, and then you've gotten an hour of sleep. And then by that point, you're not worth anything as a trader because you're not operating from a high performing mindset because you're tired. So it's just reminding that you're a valuable person outside of life and that you don't really have to feel like you're a good or bad person based on the P&L of the day.
How to avoid unnecessary losses. Big topic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We went over a bit. First one is daily loss limit. Keep it smaller than you think. Moses here, and we actually recommend the same thing, about 10% on these prop accounts. Set up a 10% daily loss. We'll do that. If you can, I think we do 20% in the builder, but if you reach out after you set up account, we'll drop it to 10 if you want. We're happy to do that. So just, first thing is daily loss. The rest is setting yourself up for success like he did. Don't sit at the computer if you know you're gonna have trouble not trading. Don't sit at the computer until it makes sense. Just do all the little things you need to not take unnecessary losses. And then of course, there's a huge part of this that we're not addressing, which is the edge. Like we're not trying to minimize that you still need edge. You still have to be really good at this to play poker really well. This is really what you're doing here. That doesn't go away. But if you don't have this baseline, good luck. You might have a lucky streak for a week. Good luck keeping it. All that stuff, you're going to have such unpredictability in your long-term results in 2026 callback that what's the point? You're going to get through 2026 again, and a lot of you guys are going to be in the same spot you were. You're not going to be net positive, and you're probably not going to feel comfortable even having a personal account yet. So start making the changes now. It's January.
I'll talk a little bit about the edge because I know that's what a lot of people do relate to. A great way to avoid unnecessary losses, and I know it is cliche, but it's because it's correct. It's learn how to trade less. There was a time in my trading, I think there's a few people from my Discord in here who can say that this was what we did. We were looking for reasons that the trade was terrible. We were nitpicking every single factor where it's like, if I take this trade and it loses, will I be mad? Chances are, if it's yes, it's not a good trade. And so you need to nitpick every little thing. Does it fit this criteria? Is it this time of day after this news factor? Well, whatever your system is, really, really, really think about it and trade less. Like for me, I had one trade, although my setup had about 4 opportunities. I only took one of them because it literally had nothing wrong with it at all. And so you need to learn how to trade less and be harsher on the setups and not excited to trade. As I said, I don't want to do this in the sense of I don't want to sit here for 8 hours a day. I'd go insane. My head would explode. So I want to learn how to get in and get out with the least amount of stress possible. And that's the least amount of trades because I nitpick every little thing. Oh, Josh, you are on mute.
And can you hear me? We're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and to apply it to your edge, how can the same rule that we're talking about? How do you set yourself up for success? So you're doing less stupid stuff. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to do stupid stuff. You're already going to be capable because the tools are going to allow you to take trades that are stupid. So what can you do? You can come up with points of interest, right? Most people are going to trade. I don't know how you're getting to this points of interest. It could be ICT or whatever the trend is right now. Finding points of interest and you would only trade around those points of interest. So you shouldn't be diddling in the middle, like a lot of people like to say. Don't diddle in the middle. Wait to execute when you get to your point of interest. So now you're setting yourself up for not over trading, because you're not going to take trades before it gets there, or daily risk per trade. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. He takes 2 trades a day. Let's say it's $3,000 drawdown. He risks $150 per trade, and he takes 2. If he loses those 2 in a row, he's done. Coming up with those systems and believing in those systems, like, you have to fully embrace this, or you're probably going to give up on it, or you're going to come in the morning, wake up in the morning, skip your coffee, skip your push-ups, start taking random stuff in the middle of the chart. Like, it doesn't take much before you start going into a direction you don't want to go. So
it's a lot easier to do that too, right? It's a lot easier to skip the coffee, skip the push-ups, skip the 5-minute exercises with yourself, because it's boring and doesn't give you that fast dopamine. I'm not on my phone besides those apps that I use to meditate and stuff up until the market is open, and even then it is locked away in my desk, because I don't want to start the cycle of quick dopamine through TikTok or whatever, so that I don't bring in that fast dopamine urge into the market, and then I take a setup that's not mine, or I'm like, hey, screw it, I'm bored, 5 minis, right? That's not fun at the end of the day, because you actually lose, and then you're like, oh wait, I shouldn't have done that, and you shouldn't have. I'll say, with taking 2 trades per day, I used to trade stocks before I traded prop firms, and I was genuinely taking 7 to 8 scalps per day, and now I'm at the point where I've had 3 no trade days in a row, and it's crazy how, when you actually, as Josh said, try, how much better you feel, because you're less stressed, because you're not doing things you're not supposed to. For me, that's no more than 2 losses in one day, because chances are the market's not doing what I want it to, or I'm just not in line with the bias or whatever. If it's happened once, fine. If it's happened twice, why am I going to wait to see if the third one hurts less? Probably not.
Yeah. I'm getting pinged here. Okay, just a reminder, guys, we do have a sale running. We've got 70% off our static accounts and 60% off our EOD. We extended the New Year's sale. It ends tomorrow night, so make sure you grab that. And we'll be doing the giveaway here in a couple minutes. So we're wrapping up entries. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes, and then we're going to spin the wheel.
Okay, 2 minutes for rapid fire lightning questions. Do we have any rapid fire I can answer in 1 second? I trade for a living, but I overtrade and keep failing accounts. I have to cover my bills. Is it possible to make consistent profits under stress? How to overcome my over trading issue? I think it's possible to trade from stress, but only if you actually do what we say to do. You do your push-ups, you respect your daily loss, all that stuff compounds really fast. It might be physically uncomfortable to do that for 1 day, but then it's easier the second and the third. Next thing you know, you've done it for 2 weeks, and then a month, and then you've done it for 3 months in a row, and now you're a consistently profitable trader, right? So I think you need to really hone in on what you have to do and treat it like it's religion. That's probably the best thing for you.
Yeah. Well, I know some of you guys were successful in 2025, but what I do see is always obviously the stats behind what's going on for most people. And so I really hope you guys take the opportunity to go, okay, I have these feelings, I have this ego of I can trade 5 minis, and I can make $5,000 in a day. I just need to figure that out on its own in isolation. Figure out what you're going to do this year that's not going to feel as exciting, but it's going to get you where you want to be. And that's process. And that's putting yourself in situations where you're not going to have the ability to screw yourself over. It's those simple little decisions. It's a lot of them that add up, where you're looking back and you're going, wow, I have 1 the results I wanted, or at least in that direction. Maybe you're not losing as much. That's also good. Maybe you're break even. That's usually what happens. People plateau for a while.
Which is a lot easier to fix. It's a lot easier to get profitable from break even than it is to get profitable from losing.
You can fix process. You can fix your stats. If you're doing something consistently, you can adjust that stuff. But if you're randomly shooting stuff and just new accounts, let me set up this copy trader for 40 accounts, and how can I make it so I can trade 24 hours a day and always make money? Just get out of that mindset. Less.
Wait, I can't do that, Josh?
You can. That's the scary part. That's what sucks, is you can trade 23 hours a day. Okay, and on the weekends you can flip over to crypto or something.
No, thank you.
You can force this on yourself, and it feels good because it feels right, because if you were doing anything else, if you were, pressure washing stuff, you can do that as long as you're physically able to stand up. But your mental capital is going to get destroyed, and you're going to be making horrible decisions if you're doing that in this world. So that push through that you have, that a lot of you guys probably have, which is a solid quality, where you're like, no, I'm just going to stay up all night. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make the money. I'm going to do the job. It doesn't work with this. Is
that high performer mentality that I talk about, where it's like, whether you were successful in sports or school because you just pushed through and relentless effort got you to where you want to go in those sports and those school events, that doesn't mean trading's the same way. You need to simplify it and make it easier on yourself to actually succeed.
All right, we're going to go ahead and spin this wheel we got Raj on here. We're going to do two $200 giveaways, and we're going to give away a shirt. And what we're going to do for everybody who entered the giveaway that hasn't gotten a credit before, so if you haven't gotten a credit from a previous stream, a giveaway or anything, we're going to add a $20 credit to your account, and you can use that towards a reset or a new assessment. So everyone wins in a sense. And we like to let the guests say the name so we don't have to say it wrong.
Gosh.
We put that on your shoulders.
So then I will say it wrong. All right, let's see. Winner number 1 of the $200 credit is Israel Martinez. Come on, that one was a little bit
Israel goes easy with the Moses theme.
Yes, it does. Congrats, Mr. Martinez. Second $200 credit, and a congratulations from me goes to...
There's a lot of names on there.
I know. Oh my gosh. Robert Botkin. Congratulations, Robert.
Very cool. Another $200 credit. You guys will get emails really quickly here and with the credit notification, and it'll show up at checkout. And this will be for the shirt.
This will be for the shirt. Okay. Please don't be a hard name. Paul Nicola. Oh my gosh, I do not want to mess that up. Mr. Meza.
Izquierdo.
Oh my gosh.
Izquierdo Meza.
I am so sorry. I am really bad with Spanish. But Paul, congratulations.
Congrats, Paul. Very cool. You'll get the shirt. You'll get an email asking about that. And then everybody, remember, if you haven't been trading with us yet and you got a $20 credit, we have practice accounts for $19. So those practice accounts don't give you a path to funding, right? But what they can do is give you access to our platform, the data. It'll give you access to all the statistics that we have, the dashboard that's in there. So you can start building your strategy, prove it to yourself before you start spending more money on trading, right? It's a free opportunity to come through us and use our tooling, take your time, build your daily routine, tell your wife you can't watch TV with her late anymore. That's a big part of it. And then in the morning, have your routine, take your trades and walk away. See how long you can do that. Because most of y'all are probably going to lose more money, I hate to say it, than you are going to make more money if you keep doing it the way you're doing it. So use the beginning of January as an opportunity to get ahead of the game and make 2026 better. And again, here's our discount for our sale that ends tomorrow. Use code Moses.
Thank you.
Moses has been giving us his time today and helping you all out. So go ahead and use his code so he gets credit for that.
Thank you very much. And I am in the Discord all the time, so just mention me. It is simply at Moses Trading. I will respond as best as I can to any messages or DMs that you send my way. And if you want to talk more sort of in depth about how to make your personal 2026 better, text me. I'm always there.
There you go. Cool, guys. I don't know if there's a few more questions we can answer. We have time here. What symbols do you trade, and does your risk vary between any of them?
I trade NASDAQ 99.999% of the time. I chart on the minis and execute on the micros. And that risk is $1 amount per trade. So that's going to be $200 to $250 per trade, and then $500 at the end of the day. That works for me. That works well for what I do. And I keep it consistent because that limits variability, which makes it easier and less sort of those dopamine spikes of more sizing or bigger wins. I know what to expect because at the end of the day, this is probability more than it is making money.
Sure. And to kind of give you a little more info on that, he's thinking dollar per trade. So he's working backwards from, okay, I'm on MNQ. I'm risking $200 in a trade. Here's where I'm going to have to set my risk on the chart. Now, how many micros am I going to use where that equals $200 of risk? So
which
work backwards
from
$1 per trade.
2 to 8, blah, blah, blah. If I have a 10-point stop or a 29-point stop, all of that changes because I need to know where I'm going to stop out before I know how much sizing I'm going to use, because I want to prepare to be a better loser than just make the most amount of money.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of people, they all say, or not all, but a lot of people have this ego about them where, no, I'm a mini trader, or no, I trade. What do you trade? Oh, I trade 8 MNQ. I'm like, well, that's usually a warning sign for me where they're not thinking in terms of dollar risk. They're thinking in terms of, that's how they sort of identify as a trader, is I'm a mini trader, I'm a micro, and that's not what it is. You have a risk per trade, you have a risk per day, you have a risk per week, and everything follows that. It's working backwards from that. So don't listen to the nonsense of all that kind of stuff. There are some different things about micros and minis that have different commissions that you want to take into account, depending on how many trades you're taking a day. If you're taking a lot of scalp trades, those kinds of things. But for the most part, what you want to do is what I just said.
Yes, I did see one question in here that I wanted to address. Where is it? Oh, it was, did you change your strategy based on prop? Something like that. I don't know if you can find that comment. I wanted to discuss that because I get this question often. I don't know where that is. Let me look for it. Maybe you guys can.
Sounds like you know the question if you want to just talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, but about trading from prop from stocks, my strategy did not change, but I learned more about myself trading from prop than a personal account ever would teach me, because you deal with those same things, dopamine spikes, or you can now all of a sudden trade 5 minis and it costs you $80 as opposed to 5 minis which costs you $10,000 or $20,000, so on and so forth. And so I don't think my strategy from stocks to futures changed that much, but it definitely taught me more about myself and how to work backwards from your discipline off the charts onto them, because when I was just doing stocks, I could stay up late, or I could eat junk food and do all these things, because if I felt like it was a bad day, I would just honestly say screw it and take full responsibility for it on a personal type of account versus prop, for some reason, made my head spin so much more because it was such a low cost of entry that I gambled more. And so, sorry, that didn't really make much sense. I gambled more on props, and I sort of just didn't trade on a personal account when I had those bad days. That's what I was trying to say. And so for most of y'all, you are on props. And so it's a lot easier to get into a $2,000 drawdown account for $100 or something. And it's like you are treating it like a casino where it's, if I buy this evaluation account, I'm going to make 80 million cajillion dollars, when in reality, you have to look at that as an investment in your business. Okay, that was a long-winded answer. Got a little bit off track there. Why did I choose trading as a career versus any other field? I got into trading when I was a teenager. I was 15, and when all of my friends were playing Call of Duty and Fortnite and Xbox and stuff, I was obsessed with charts because it was a video game to me. And so when my friends who maybe were raised with soccer then transitioned into playing soccer in college, it was sort of the same thing. I had been trading from 14 or 15 until I was 20. And then that made it really easy to just continue because it's all I know how to do. I can't write code or do anything else. Like, my skill is trading, and it's a video game, and it's where I love to be, is on the charts.
Very enjoyable. There's
less stressful.
It's yeah, but when it comes down to it, you guys want to end up in a better place. So let's just do one more question, then we'll wrap it up. What else we got? You want to pop? Why did you choose trading as a career?
That's what we just discussed.
Yeah.
I will say thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. You gave us a lot of great insight. The two of us haven't even talked before this, other than lightly on Discord. So it was nice to see you face to face.
Let's see.
It takes 45 days to pass the sim. Do we get a pass to the brokerage, or do we still do sim? It depends. So people are obsessed about getting to the brokerage immediately, and when you get, a lot of people don't do it well. So they might do the sim a certain amount of days, and they think, oh, I'm good, I should be able to go right to the brokerage. Don't worry about that so much. We have pretty high expectations to skip people after they pass the assessment and set them up in the brokerage. It's not necessarily the amount of days you took. It would be how you traded those days. And we'd probably talk with you and do an interview to see what that felt like. And if we felt like you were coachable, do we feel like you understand risk management? There's a lot of details there before we send someone directly to the brokerage. So don't think in those terms. And it's really, our sim brokerage process is almost the equivalent to the brokerage, right? You go into the brokerage as far as mechanically for you and what we're risking, because if you get through the sim brokerage, we're putting the risk on the line too. We're giving you that money to set up an account. So don't obsess about that part. But to give you an answer, reach out to support. We'll set up a call with you, and we can go over your results, and if anything, kind of help you along.
Yeah, and also, if you don't get the pass to the brokerage, really remember it's called an evaluation because it's exactly what it says. It's an evaluation. And so take those same sort of processes that you use to pass the account into making the buffer, into then going to the brokerage. All of it goes from one to the next, and it trickles down. All of the good habits and bad ones that you bring from sim will also be transferred to the brokerage.
Cool. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up there. If you guys have more questions, though, we're always chatting in the Discord, and you can tag at Moses Trading as well. He's in there. And appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much. I will be in there for the next hour or so just to answer anything if you guys want to know anything. I'll be in the trading chat.
Cool. All right.